Warning, if you're easily offended, triggered, or considered a snowflake by your friends, you're listening to the wrong podcast. The views and opinions you're about to hear are raw, unfiltered, and without any regard for political correctness.
I'm offended.
Shut up. Longtime friends Scott, Will, Devie, and Jay dive deep into issues that other podcasts are too scared to talk about.
No topic is off limits.
All opinions are welcome.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Unlike some other popular panel shows, you know what we're talking about. These four friends have no agenda other than to tell it like it is. This is the Big Divide.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are live, first weekend video. Is my boy, the Puerto Rican out there, Will Montes, you checking in today?
Puerto Rican is in the house.
Boricua is in the house. And there he is. Oh, look at that face.
Handsome.
The face only a mom could love. All right. Back behind me, actually, is Devie. Traveled in this weekend for a big regional. We're having Devie Robertson. What's up, brother?
I am actually in the building.
You are in the building, man. All the way out here in Chi-Town. Representing the brother.
The black dude is in the building.
In the house, baby. How's your pigeons doing? All right. How the Braves doing?
The chicken hawks.
Actually, your team won this weekend, so they
won this weekend.
They're back now. They're back up to chicken hawk from pigeon down.
They're back to chicken. They're no longer pigeons. They're
no more pigeons. All right, and finally, the birthday boy himself. Oh,
the tribe is in the house. I'm not talking about Cleveland.
Happy birthday, Jay.
My Jewish friend.
Thank you.
He's only 73 or 4 today. How old are you?
Well, not quite. I'm a day older than I was yesterday.
All right, so
let me sing him happy birthday.
How old are you, dude? How old are you today?
Today?
Yeah. Today.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm on Medicare. I am officially on Medicare, so that should tell you everything. I like Will's idea here. Can I get a round of happy birthday?
You got it. Feliz
for my
cumpleaños a ti, te lo deseo feliz. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. Love you, man.
Look, it's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Oh, I like it, Devie. All right, Scooty, what you got for me?
I got nothing but news.
You got nothing for me. I'm so disappointed.
Oh gosh.
Hey, did you know that we're live right now?
I'm live right here. I'm actually.
This is so cool. Yeah.
It's cool. It's weird, and we're winging it. So there we go. Oh, look,
it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fun.
All right, so I only see myself now. Listen, I want to get started with some stuff. I don't know. Do we have any thing out of the mailbag? I don't. We didn't talk about that with Tristan. We were so busy getting the video ready. So I'm gonna go straight into the new news because something dropped today in the news that was absolutely humongous. You guys hear about it?
I did.
Did you hear about it, Deves? Let me just go around. What do you think? What do you think is the biggest news of the day, Devie?
The DOJ and with Hunter Biden.
Okay. What about it? Give me some more.
They said that they don't feel there was no intrusion with Russia. I forget the actual.
That's not the biggest news. That is old.
Oh, that's not the biggest news.
Really?
Okay.
What's the big news for today? Come on. Let me see. This is a pop quiz for everybody on the line here today to see if you're worthy
to the news today. Right.
I don't know if you guys are worthy to be on this podcast anymore. If you ain't got your ear to the rail on this one. Willie, your turn.
I don't know.
All right.
Jay. Yeah, we have third-party corroboration of who the big guy is.
Jay.
We have independent corroboration.
Whoa,
but I gotta say, I'm still not sure that's the biggest news. It's big, and this thing is going to crack wide open. You bet. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but
so I'm going to go with my big news, and then you guys tell me. I'm glad that technically, I'm glad that Devie and Willie haven't heard it yet, because now I get to actually unwrap this thing in front of them.
Yeah, go for it, and then I'll share with you what my conundrum is on what the bigger story might be.
Okay. So here's the key. We're gonna tap one of my favorite podcasts ever. So today we're gonna pay homage to the people that actually that I watch that got me interested in doing podcasting. So this is fun. So if we could play that clip right now, let's do the Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, everybody, hit it.
My name is Tony Babalinsky. The facts set forth below are true and accurate. They are not any form of domestic or foreign disinformation. Any suggestion to the contrary is false and offensive. I am the recipient of the email published 7 days ago by the New York Post, which showed a copy to Hunter Biden and Rob Walker. That email is genuine. This afternoon, I received a request from the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs and the Senate Committee on Finance requesting all documents relating to my business affairs with the Biden family, as well as various foreign entities and individuals. I have extensive relevant records and communications, and I intend to produce those items to both committees in the immediate future. I am the grandson of a 37-year Army intelligence officer, the son of a 20-plus-year career naval officer, and the brother of a 28-year career naval flight officer. I myself served our country for 4 years and left the Navy as Lieutenant Babalinsky. I held a high-level security clearance and was an instructor and then CTO for Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. I take great pride in the time my family and I served this country. I am also not a political person. What few campaign contributions I have made in my life were to Democrats. If the media and big tech companies had done their jobs over the past several weeks, I would be irrelevant in this story. Given my long-standing service and devotion to this great country, I could no longer allow my family's name to be associated or tied to Russian disinformation or implied lies and false narratives dominating the media right now. After leaving the military, says Babalinsky, I became an institutional investor, investing extensively around the world and on every continent. I've traveled to over 50 countries. I believe hands down we live in the greatest country in the world. What I'm outlining is fact. I know it is fact because I lived it. I am CEO of Sinahawk Holdings, which was a partnership between the Chinese operating through CEFC Chairman Yi and the Biden family. I was brought into the company to be the CEO by James Gilliar and Hunter Biden. The reference to the big guy in the much-publicized May 13th, 2017 email is, in fact, a reference to Joe Biden. The other JB referenced in that email is Jim Biden, Joe's brother. Okay, so the email that he is talking about is this May 13th, 2017 email that suggested that 20% of the company was to be held for Hunter Biden and 10 was to go to, quote-unquote, the big guy. This is the email that implicates Joe Biden in possible actual corrupt activity.
What?
Yeah, it's big.
That's
really
huge big. Because first of all, Joe Biden said, hey, I don't know anything about my son's business dealings, right? And then right. And then he says, I don't have anything. I'm not part of the. Not only did he not know about, he not only knew about it, he was actually proof that the partner said we were supposed to put the big guy in those emails coming off the hard drive. He says, I'm the guy. I'm trying to clear my name out of this thing. I'm sending all the information to the Senate. And so exactly, if you listen to that, the rest of that podcast. So they're sending stuff to the Senate now. He goes, I'm going to package all up. Here's all the stuff. So we're talking about possible wire transfers, all communications on Joe Biden getting 10% of the influence money from China through his son going to the big guy per the guy who's the CEO of the company it went through.
Yeah, this is a really big deal. And I don't think okay, first of all, we're going to have to go back to the alleged thing. We did this last week because nothing's been proven yet, but it certainly doesn't look very promising for the former vice president. And I don't think we've ever seen a scandal of this nature this high up in the federal government while they're in that office. The closest thing I can think of is the Spiro Agnew scandal back in 73, I believe. And he was being indicted for actions that he took while he was in the Maryland State's Attorney's Office, not as the sitting vice president. So this is a pretty big deal.
Huge.
Yeah, it is. It is. And there's another partner whose name escapes me who said he got out of that relationship because he didn't like the way it was going and he wanted to distance himself. They're coming out of the woodwork. And what caught me by surprise on this revelation today, I heard this morning for the first time. I thought the real damage was going to come from, I'm terrible. See, I'm a year older. I can't remember names. The guy who's awaiting sentencing, the former partner, Barron. It escapes me.
Devin Archer.
Thank you, Devin Archer. Because I thought because he's awaiting sentencing that he would roll in an effort to get a reduced sentence. But now we're seeing it come from another place altogether that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah. And that's crazy. So, okay. So now, you knew about it, Jay. I knew about it, Jay. Willie, what's your thoughts?
It's deep, right? And
can you turn up your mic, bro? I need to
turn it up.
Back. Yeah, turn it up a little bit. The gain. We're live, so
the gain.
We can't edit you out.
With me.
So don't say the words you said in the last stuff we had to edit.
You
out.
There?
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
You might be talking better. You talking in the back of your microphone again?
No, in front of the mic. Can you hear me?
What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
Well, it's got to break, right? It's got to break. Although Ben Shapiro reported it, we know that they're doing all these fraudulent things behind the scenes. It's coming out to the forefront, and we know that it's his laptop. He signed it over himself, so these are all facts. Why isn't the media reporting it? So that's my concern right there. And I got a feeling, they're trying to hide it. But let's say this. Let's say Trump loses the election. Biden gets in. What's going to happen? Right? And here's what's going to happen. Here's what I'm predicting. The Democrats are going to impeach Joe Biden. They're going to say, hey, you know what? You got to step aside, put Kamala in charge, and no charges are ever going to be brought up. Just think about that. But who else is in on it? Obama. It was his administration. It was his watch.
I'm so glad I'm not like the big conspiracy guy in the show. Willie is that guy right there.
But just think about it. The attack that big tech is doing on us, right? We're at war right now. I had a dream. Okay. Ooh. I had a dream 2 nights ago. Okay. And I'm going to give you, my point of view. It was a vivid dream, and I don't remember my dreams. Right. Okay. But it was War of the Worlds, okay? And AOC was the biggest supporter of the media, okay? Now, they were attacking the people. Now, just how are they attacking us? Just think about it. The impeachment, okay? The Russia conspiracy, they threw everything at this man, and he's still standing. Now they're telling us in the face, right? The New York Post cannot publish what they want to publish. These are billionaires that are controlling the way we think. And this is China all over in the United States of America.
It's Orwellian for sure.
No, okay? We are at a civil war. People are against each other. And the Chinese are moving in, right? And big tech is men. Oh, so, tomorrow's or tonight's debate, being muted, right? Foreign policy had to be the issue. What's going on in America? That's my concern. I want people to go to prison. I want people to go to prison. Go ahead.
So, Will, I've got to ask you a question. Bill Peterson is asking a question here. How does this play out? You're
going to ask Will? He just said it's War of the World, and AOC is going to
run. I wanted to get some popcorn for that. He wants to know, does Joe Biden step down as the candidate and let it go to Kamala, or are you predicting a Biden win?
No, here's how it's going to
No, I am not predicting a Biden win. I say if he wins, right? They're using the Trojan horse to take over power. Okay, just think about it. Okay, we had protests on the streets that were actually riots, and they're calling it a myth. They're lying to us completely.
Wait a second, Will. Hey, those were peaceful riots.
Oh,
okay.
Just notice. And we're the peasants. And once they get Joe Biden in there, they're going to say, Joe, go retire. We're going to impeach you, make it look good for American democracy, and we're going to take over this. You're no longer going to go to prison, have the opportunity to go to prison, and we'll take care of you for life. This is going to be a wash, right? Now we got full power. They're going to pack the court. They're going to do whatever they desire to do, because that's what they're doing in our faces. Democracy is at stake right now. That's how I feel. Go ahead.
So I want. So we haven't heard from Devie. Devie, that was news to you, right? You heard it for the first time, right? And really, one of my missions on this show has been to save Devie. All right. So anyway, so Deves, you saw it for the first time. Now, what do you think? Come on.
Because I'm heading down a path that's dire, right?
I'm just saying. You and I've had conversations privately about what you feel and what I feel, right?
Come on, Devie, let it out, baby. Let it out.
You just heard that, right? So, and I'm sure because Biden's on the record of saying, I have no idea about my son's businesses. That's his business. And now the media is like, even the people in my life, like, here's the new talking point from the left, everybody in my life. I'm not electing Hunter Biden. So why am I'm electing Joe Biden, not Hunter Biden? What does Hunter have to do with the election? It's his business. Now you got a guy.
You're still in my point. I was going to let you lead to that.
No. Okay, no problem. So before the show, you were probably like, listen, it's Hunter Biden. What's that have to do with Joe, right? Now I'm showing you a business partner coming in going, I'm going to give all the documents to clear my name on this thing. The big guy is Joe Biden. He did get money. So now how do you feel about it? That's exactly what I want to hear.
No, and actually, so you said something like, so I've actually been reading up and following a lot of this stuff that's going on with Hunter Biden, and I do agree with you in terms of it's these elitist individuals, and Joe Biden is definitely one of them too as well. He's been in this whole environment for 47
years.
Yeah. So he is in no way exempt from all that as well. Like I believe Trump is a narcissist, and I believe that Joe Biden is one of those elitists, and he can't be touched. And I agree. The Democratic side will want to get him in, but they don't really want him in, and because it'll look good to the American people to get this woman of color in there and let her run it. Like I honestly feel, and I'm going on record on this show and say, hey, I think it's time to let the women run it. That's just my personal. It has nothing to do with their experience and all of that like that. I just feel like it's time for women.
That's the problem I have with it. You're like, I don't care about their experience. As long as a woman's in there, then what I want has happened versus policy and past policy.
Okay, but and here's my logic behind that, right? Do we care if a woman has ever had a baby before we say, is she qualified to have a baby?
Does anybody follow that? Is there anybody on the line here?
No. Kamala's not qualified to be president.
No. Is this what I'm saying? I'm saying, do we even question that the fact that she's never had a child before, but is she ready to have a child?
I follow what he's saying. We've never had a woman as a president. Does that mean she's not qualified? I get that, but I don't.
That's like saying, okay, hold on. I'll answer that, Jay. She's got all the equipment to be a childbearing woman. All right. Does Kamala Harris have all the equipment to be the president? Absolutely not.
That's what poses my.
Based on what her position, she's already said, oh yeah, here from her debate stage. Yep, give all the anybody that's legally here, give them health care. We're going to take all their guns. Let's make Medicare like the DMV. She's on record saying, yeah, we're going to get rid of it's going to be one payer health care. It'll be like the DMV. That's better. She has said all these things from a debate stage. And one of the reasons that she did not make it to the first primary, even the Democrats who were voting in the primary did not want her on the ticket. She was done.
Okay, we can say that, but I believe she was only done because the Democrats have been running on this. Oh, who is better equipped to beat Donald Trump? So I don't know. I don't know if the Democrats didn't want her, or why didn't they go with Susan Warren? Why didn't they go with all the other choices? They went with Joe Biden.
Susan Warren.
What's her name?
Elizabeth.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. Well, you know who I was talking about. Anyway, but my point though is this:
how did he make it through the vetting process? This guy, Devie.
Because I keep it real. At least I'm keeping it real. I don't care
yes,
if
you are.
Her name is really not Susan.
Okay, I get it. Okay, Elizabeth Warren. Okay, that's just like your mama. Your mom. See your mom. Like my mom.
This is live now. There's no editing now. Good job, dude.
My mom got 3 boys, right? She would say she could be called. She wants me, and she'll call me Walt. That's my older brother's name, and I'm like, my name ain't Walt. She said, "Child, you know your name." So it's the
I don't
same.
gotta know it. Okay.
anyway, back to the original question. I believe that this is very revealing, and I'm going to be curious of how Joe Biden is going to get through this one, because no matter how you shake it out, this does show a sense of, hey, you used your power. The same accusation that they were accusing Trump was abusing his power when they tried to impeach him is the same as that. It's the same thing that's happening right now. So I believe this is damaging. This is definitely damaging. I don't know if it's going to really sway people who they're going to vote for, really, but it's definitely telling. It's definitely telling about.
Has it swayed you? Has it swayed you?
No, because I've told y'all I don't care for either one of them.
Okay, no problem.
If there's another person to vote for, when I go to vote, if there's another person, I'm voting for that person.
Oh, he's going independent, guys. You can write in anybody you want, Devie. Why don't you write me in? I'll get at least one vote.
Hell, you vote for me? Yeah. At least I know what kind of guy you is. I don't know what these other.
Write that guy. Write this.
I'll write Scott Rowe in.
Okay. So in my world, I'm going to still deal with the question that's on the chat box here in the chats from Bill. So what's going to happen? So if Biden has to step out of the race because of this situation, then he's got to take his vice president with him because he named her. Does that make sense? Hey, you chose her as a running mate, so your running mate don't get to stay. And then what do you do? Now what do you do? I don't know. We're in uncharted territories right here.
Yeah. So does that make Trump the automatic winner?
He's going to win anyway.
No, it wouldn't work that way.
No, it wouldn't work that easy. It wouldn't work that way. I mean, there's our other candidates on the thing, but listen, look, in my world,
2 votes, Scott. You got 2 votes.
It's a coming landslide in my world, based on just pure enthusiasm.
First of all, there will be no indictments if there ever are. There certainly won't be any before the election, and right. If there were, and if for whatever reason Joe Biden stepped down, his name is still on the ballot, and he would probably garner tens of millions of votes. Yeah. And if he were to win, it would simply go to the Democrats. And then if he found himself in crisis and had to step down or were removed, Kamala would become president.
I think you would see Pelosi push her way in.
Oh, there's an interesting idea.
Right. Seriously, I think you would be like, nope, she wasn't even going to be on the ticket. He chose her. So that wasn't democratic at all. People chose me as Pelosi. The people's representatives chose me as Pelosi.
I don't think it would play out that way, Scooty, because you'd have it. Let's say the Democrats would win the election, and Biden would be on the ticket with Harris. So if he steps down, she's essentially been voted in as the vice president, so she would take over.
All right, you think so? It's weird.
Well, that would be the progression.
It's an odd thing.
But I want to address something that Will said earlier too. You were bringing Barack Obama into this. I don't think Barack Obama is part of this scandal, other than to say either he knew or should have known, or maybe he distanced himself. Maybe that's why he distanced himself from Biden during the run-up, during the primaries, because he certainly knew this is not a new story. The China relationship, the Ukrainian relationship is not new. They knew this, but it wasn't at scandal level. It is now. Yeah. I don't know if Biden would ever be indicted if this turns out to be true. I don't know.
Look,
go ahead, Will.
He didn't know about the spying on Trump in that meeting.
That's a whole different thing. That's a different scandal.
Yeah, you're muddying the water.
But it's all tying up together. Just think about it.
No, they're two separate things. There's two separate things from a legal standpoint. And as I see it, Barack Obama is clean on this. He'll never get sullied in this. A better question or another question would be, let's assume for the moment that what we're hearing is true. Do you think Joe Biden would ever be indicted, whether he's elected or not? Or is he at such a level that, they're Teflon?
And this is exactly, you know what? I got another clip around all that stuff, right?
Run it.
All right, let's go to this. Let's go to the Tom Fitton clip. And let's listen to this, because I pulled this because this is what ticks me off about the DC elites, right? So there's the kind of stuff that we do as civilians and we would go to jail for, people at a certain level are almost like Teflon. Does that make sense? Teflon. So let's play that.
I don't think the FBI should be anywhere near any investigations anymore. This is the second laptop they've mishandled. Remember the Wiener laptop? Now they've mishandled another laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop, by all accounts. I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust the Justice Department. I don't know how much more evidence we need. They can't be trusted to prosecute, let alone investigate or ask questions of any one of the protected class here in Washington, D.C. Remember, Attorney General Barr said back in May he found there was nothing that they were going to be asking Obama and Biden about in terms of a criminal investigation. Well, did he know about this laptop back then? And if he didn't, why not?
The problem is, how do you trust, and I think we've talked about this in the past shows, how do you trust anything in the government, the media? Like, we're trying to live a life, right? Like, I want to wake up in the morning. I want to do my webinars in the morning, talk to my crew around the country that, you know, we're doing business with. And I want to do things. And I want to have to worry about, you know, am I being screwed over by the people I elected? Right? Am I being lied to by the media for an agenda? And I think we're at that point, right? So you have the Hillary Clinton laptop, which you know, they didn't even interview her under oath, even though they stood at a podium and said, "Here's all the laws she broke," but no prosecutor would take. He overstepped his boundaries. Comey did when he said that. So the processes that we trust are being I don't want to say this word because I don't think, you know, it's not a good word.
Well, they're being corrupted.
Say it.
For sure.
I was going to say the BASTARD.
You can say that word. Yeah,
I can say that. Bastardized. Yeah. So
I'm
these
that.
processes that we trust are being bastardized by people who don't give a crap about peasants, like Willie said, right? Like, we're just, hey, like what we do. Like, there is a huge elite bubble in Washington, D.C. that is fighting a war right now, and we are the victims.
I mean,
right?
Look at this. We're 4 years down the road from Hillary Clinton's defeat in the presidential election, and I haven't heard bupkis on the Clinton Foundation, either investigation or indictments if it's appropriate. I don't know if it's been investigated or not, but I can tell you it should be. And this isn't a political attack. It was clearly pay to play. I mean, from a layman's perspective, why haven't we heard anything on that? And I think Joe Biden is at a level where we will not see a prosecution.
No, I don't think so either. And that's the problem. The problem is, like, all right, he did all this stuff wrong. It looks wrong. What kind of investigation are we going to see? What are we going to hear about? To the point where the laptop, and this is what Tom Fitton was talking about in that clip, the laptop made it into the FBI's hand from the owner of the computer store, right? And the reason that the reason he made copies was because he was like, I don't know, like, I fear for my life. I'm going to make sure there's copies in case, you know, I get Clintonized, right? Like, so, you know, so Clinton's died.
Or did you mean Vince Fosterized? Is that
whatever?
Okay.
Exactly. That was their friend.
But, you know, you did say something on last week's podcast, which I thought was interesting. I made the comment about the laptop being in the FBI's possession since last December. And you said, well, maybe they are investigating and we don't know. And I did hear something about that last week, that they were using it and they were investigating something slightly different than what we're hearing, but in the same ballpark.
But we know that the only reason we're hearing about it now is because the computer store owner was like, I haven't heard anything. We're about to have an election. This guy's name is all over this hard drive. I got to get this to somebody. So I have people in my life who are saying it's been debunked. It's Russian conspiracy stuff. Right? Like the talking points that came from Adam Schiff, right, which then got subsequently debunked by the DNI and the FBI, saying, no, there's no proof that this is Russian disinformation. Schiff just said that.
And
so,
I can't for the life of me understand why the FBI hasn't done something with this in all this time. And I don't understand why Chris Wray is still sitting at the top of the FBI.
I have an idea. I have an idea. The guy is in the bag just like everybody else was in the bag. He was just the next guy in line. It's like he was already there in the FBI when Trump was cleaning the swamp out, right? He's like, all right, I guess I'm the next swamp monster to protect everything. That's where I'm at in that thing.
And the swamp monsters are both Democrats and established Republicans.
Yeah,
and they have been there for years.
It's DC elites.
The DC elites. And just notice how many established old Republicans, no longer in office, are getting together and signing documents against Donald Trump because he's the first president doing the work of the people. He's cleaning out that swamp, and that swamp is a lot. All right. And they don't care what they throw at him no more. Fake impeachment. You know, he just made a phone call. Quid pro quo, they called it. Hey, what is this? This is not a phone call. Right. Yeah. And they think we're stupid.
This is a bureaucracy problem. I agree.
Oh, yeah. And
so, guys, so I feel if Donald Trump would just have a better how can I say this?
Bedside manner?
Yes. Okay. That's a great way to put it.
You would take him seriously?
This is why you're here.
Go ahead.
I think if he just had a better delivery system or something, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. You know, he rubs people the wrong way because he doesn't mince words and he doesn't hold back. And frankly, sometimes he says some things that he just should not say. He lacks a filter.
Right. I get it. And so I think more American people who are probably against him could take a better look at him and say, and maybe look at it from Will's lens of him. All right. The guy is, he looks at certain things and he says certain things this way. And I'm a guy, I like to know who the person is that I'm talking to. Right. Right. I say this a lot. I don't have a problem with you being a racist. If I know you're a racist, right? You don't hide it.
Racist.
No, huh?
Well, okay. That's your story, Will.
That's your story. I'm saying I don't have a problem with someone. I'm not saying this guy. I said someone. If someone is a racist, right? And I know that they're a racist, here's what I can respect from them. I can respect the fact that you don't hide it, and I know who I'm dealing with, right? We had this saying in the military. It's easy to shoot your enemy when you know the uniform they're wearing, right? So I know who you are. When you don't know who these people are and they're hiding behind these facades, and just like I think Joe Biden, them, they're all hiding behind these facades. My point was I think if Trump was a little bit more polished, a little bit more presentable or something that way.
If he sounded like Barack Obama,
but still being, you know, forthcoming. You know, I think he doesn't hold punches.
Yeah, but you're looking at the messenger instead of his message and what he's done for the people. Now look at Joe Biden, right? He looks polished, right? But just don't ask him any questions, right? Just don't ask him any questions, and he's running for president of the United States of America, right? But he won't take no questions. Kamala won't take no questions. Oh, they look polished, though. They look fantastically polished. Here goes Donald Trump. He's brass. He tells it like it is. But Devie, you know Donald Trump. He tells it like it is. He's a New Yorker.
But he lies a lot, too. He lies quite a bit.
Listen. Is there embellishment? I agree 100%. But if you look at his policies and what he has been able to accomplish in results, just compare that. 47 years of Joe Biden. What has that done for America? Right?
So I say then why don't we just say, you know what? If we're going to clear the swamp, then let's clear the swamp.
How do you do that?
Get them all out.
But they're going against him.
How do you do that?
He's cleaning the house. They're going against him.
How that happens. Give us an idea how that happens.
I mean, I know they have to change laws and how they're elected officials, and look, I just feel like they shouldn't have.
Here's how you do it. You do it exactly the way it's being done right now. You get a guy who is, and I've said this all the time since he got elected, he is a bowling ball in the washing machine, right? He is the perfect, like, it's funny how life is organic and it will always balance itself out. He got elected because people were sick and tired. There were people that were finally voting for the first time in their lives, right? In 2016, because they're like, you know what? That guy's never been a politician. I want to see somebody like that in DC, right? Because they're sick and tired, like it's the rolling of the eyes of the establishment, like, oh my gosh. So, you know, there were a lot of first-time voters ever voted.
There's always going to be first-time voters.
I got two ideas.
No. Hold on. Of course there is when they're 18 and they decide to vote. But that guy is the guy that's disrupting everything. And what he did was, I'll tell you what Donald Trump is. And listen, I'll say this. And when I do say this, everybody's like, okay, I respect you more. In fact, I was on a conversation with my brother he's like angry at me because I have this view for Donald Trump. But I said, look, when Donald Trump calls somebody a loser, it makes him a loser. Right. So when he says something like that, I'm like, oh my God, because I would never do that. I would never I'll listen to you. I'll respect your position. I'll respect what you have to say. I may ask you a question. I may argue with you, but I'm never going to say, "Hey, you're a loser." And I hate when that occurs on a microphone. But the policies are awesome. I mean, I voted for him like this. I'm like, oh God, I couldn't vote for her because of what Comey had lined up as far as the crime she'd already committed. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to take it. I did not vote for him because he wasn't a politician. Am I glad that he's in there? Yes, because it has exposed, and this is the most important thing that's happened in DC the last 4 years. Donald Trump exposed the media, the establishment, right? And he exposed a passion for this country now. Like, there's going to be huge voter turnout. This is going to be record-breaking voter turnout. Now people are starting to care more and believe that, like, look, our voice is going to matter. We could get somebody back in there to keep that bowling ball in the washing machine to keep exposing it. And that's why it's going to be a landslide. That's why there's enthusiasm at his rallies. That's why you see parades popping up in LA around this idea. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about the idea that finally we see a difference.
Yeah. And hey, Devie, I want you to think about something else too. You were talking about Donald Trump's demeanor and the way he comes across. And I agree with you. It's a problem that he has, but the problem has been so exacerbated by the press. The fourth estate in this country is so corrupt. They might be more corrupt than the political column in this country at this point. And they have made every, I don't know what to call it, every gaffe, every faux pas that Donald Trump has uttered, they've multiplied it and expanded it by a factor of 100 unfairly. And people gain an impression that is not accurate. It's not correct, because as bad as he is sometimes, most of the time, he's not that bad. I mean, there have been sometimes he's gone so far over the line, I just want to pull my hair out. Like when he called John McCain a loser for getting captured. Yeah, oh my God. I just wanted to slap him silly. Yeah. So those are some instances where he's way over the line, but they're actually very few and far between.
Yeah, and this is where I diffuse. Sorry. Well, just for 1 second. This is where I diffuse most folks that disagree with me. I'm like, listen, I'm going to agree with you. There's lots of character flaws there. I don't think that his brain the speech centers are very well developed in his brain, right? Right, which may even give him a better leg up on negotiations because it's not working like everybody else up there. I don't know. The policies are good. The change is good. My favorite part of this whole idea for the last 4 years, I want to see continue for the next 4 years because I think it needs to, is the exposure of the elites, is the exposure of how connected the media and politics is. Everybody's taking notice and they're like, I don't know if I like what's going on in DC now. And I think that the people are taking back their country.
Yeah. How about this, guys? To clean out the swamp. If a president can only serve 2 terms maximum, okay, that was changed after Roosevelt. Okay, term limits, right? They shouldn't be there for 30, 40 years milking, everything about Washington. Term limits, number one. And number two, no immunity for congressmen. If you lie to the public, if you say something that's not true when it comes to our foreign policy or our domestic policy, right, held accountable. Because these guys go out, they leak to the media. Adam Schiff, the biggest liar that we know of, but what he says behind closed doors is a whole different deal. He doesn't lie behind closed doors, but he lies to us in the public. And that's been, proven over and over and over again, just like this last one. Giuliani is a Russian diplomat. That's crazy, right? That is crazy. Stop lying to us. If you lie to us and you're a congressman, you got to be held accountable. No more immunity, because that's where, if you're supposed to be our leaders, giving the peasants false lies and we believe it, we run with it. And that's why the nation's at a divide, and America's crumbling for that one reason. And it's divided because they're cleaning house. What Donald Trump is doing, you know what? They know it. We got to stop this man, because he's exposing all of us, and they all have been exposed. So I concur with Scott.
I agree with you on. I agree with you on term limits, but who's going to pass the law on term limits?
Yeah.
And that's just it, right?
That's it. Exactly, right? Like they got to present the legislation, even on, hey guys, can you imagine this in Congress? Hey guys, you know what? I'm going to stand up and say that I'm going to create a resolution where we have to go on Obamacare. We can't have the special insurance that everybody else has. That'll never happen. Unfortunately, there's going to be a level of we're going to take care of ourselves, and that's the problem. We're going to take care of ourselves because we've reached a level where we get to. We're the elite. It's crazy, dude.
So one of the issues I have though is I hear, and just in between you guys, is I just hear you say, "Hey, the Democrats are all these things. They're all these bad things." And so that makes it where you guys.
I'm going to stop right there. You've heard me say the Democrats are all these things. I've been calling them DC elites. I've been calling it DC elites all the time. You're hearing Democrats.
No. Okay, I'm that's the fair. You're correct. You have been saying DC elites, but you've also said, hey, the Democrats have gone so far that, and I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I'm just making a point. I'm saying that they're so far to the right. They're going
right or left.
Yeah, they want socialism.
Left. They're extreme, right?
Okay.
They can be very extreme there. The same thing on the Republican side. I think I did say that you have some Republicans who've been long terms that, they're actually being kind of ousted too as well with from Trump. Because when I look back, they didn't want Trump in. Like the Republicans.
Nobody did, not even me. I was listening to the primaries. I couldn't stand the guy. I could not stand Trump through the primaries.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
So I really just wish that we did have a much better system, because it's like we said we got these elected officials, but really, did we really elect them, or these are just our choices? These are
okay. You bring up a bit. All right. Can I address that really quick?
Sure.
How?
Here we go. The RNC. This is the way the primaries work. And I just had, I had one of my friends on Facebook say, I hope that they're like totally like they think there's a landslide coming for Biden. He's like, I hope after this election, the Republicans have learned their lesson, that they don't put forth a candidate like Donald Trump ever again. And I had to chime in. I'm like, let's get clear. The RNC actually has a primary that goes with the people's vote, and that's why Trump is in. The Republicans did not want him in, right? He got voted in per primary. The DNC, on the other hand, did you know, Devie, that they don't have to go with the popular vote? They have super delegates that can literally pick a candidate in the back room, right? And get together and go, this is who we're going to get. Right. That's a different process. So the RNC and DNC have two completely different processes to actually creating the nominee.
Yeah. See, so, Mike Bunk just said, I want to address this because Mike Bunk says, and what's going on, Mike? He says, much better system, ? Right? And he says, ? What is better, Venezuela, Cuba? So I when people do that, like, why do we have to base it off of what some other country's doing? Like they have
that's
different.
What they want here.
Okay.
Listen, Devie, there's it's not basing it off another country. It's taking a look at the history of how these countries became what they are and going, hey, it looks very familiar here in America right now on how Venezuela became Venezuela, right? And we're going through that same path if we let certain folks who want the kind of policies that, and they're being talked about on the left, these kind of policies with free this and free healthcare and free college and free, and UBIs. Capitalism is the reason that we are who we are.
I guess I don't understand what's wrong with free college or free healthcare for citizens.
Who pays for it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, great. So that's the question that comes up. Okay. No. Listen to me, Scott.
Middle class.
No. Okay. That's a great question, right? Well, you say who pays for it, right? But yet, when it's time to go to war, when it's time to fight or go to war, we say, hey, this war is going to cost us trillions of dollars a day, and we say, well, who's going to pay for that war?
Yeah, but that's outside the border. That's protecting the borders of the United States, right? The things that happen inside the borders becomes a capitalistic thing. Like, hey, learn how to take care of yourself. the family unit took care of itself. Dad went to work, came home, they all ate together. So that we're talking about, you know, somebody that actually can. The reason America is awesome and people want to come here is because it's the land of opportunity. And this is why you see a lot of immigrants coming in working harder than the people that were born here. The people that are born here are really lazy. And that's a good topic for next week, right?
Yeah.
Word about,
I'd like to tap into something that Devie just said. First of all, and I know you're just making a point. We've never spent trillions of dollars a day on a war anywhere ever. That's a lot of money. But we are talking about spending trillions of dollars right now on a second stimulus plan. And I'm very concerned about the runaway spending on both sides of the aisle. I'm very disappointed in President Trump for even entertaining a $1.9 trillion stimulus plan. It's outrageous and it's unconscionable.
That's an election topic right now.
Well, I figure so, but still, I don't think it should even be talked about. It's crazy.
Well, it's not being talked about because they both didn't come here.
Is anybody on this panel thinking about how deeply in debt this nation is and what the consequences are?
But that's what we always talking about, how debt. Someone even
wants everybody to get stuff for free college, free healthcare, free.
When did you just heard me say I want everybody? I said I don't understand why is it not? Why can't it be? Because you made the point.
Yeah, there you go.
Why couldn't it be?
Why not? Devie's trying to couch. He's like, did I say that? No, I didn't say that, but I did say that. Okay. I got one more clip and we got 11 minutes. We got 10 minutes. We're inside of 9 minutes. Can I get this other clip going on? Because it is very important. This next part, I got kids. I don't know if you guys got kids. Jay, you having kids? All right.
I am a kid.
You are a kid at heart. All right. I want to play this one last clip. Which clip am I talking
again?
about?
So the argument.
There it is. Okay. I want you to play this because I believe in my heart that the way that the governors, the blue state governors, are handling the COVID crisis was absolutely designed to destroy the economy that was cruising along. They knew that if the economy was what it was by the time the election hit, then we wouldn't have a shot. Right? The only shot we have is destroying the economy so that we can actually talk about how bad Trump is. Now, there's proof. Let's play the proof.
Cannot open the schools until after the election. If you look at Washington, D.C., they've openly announced that they are preparing to welcome up to 21,000 elementary school students back for in-person learning in November. Why not right now? Well, November, like November is a better time. Probably after the election. That'd be like a real good time to do it. According to the Washington, D.C.ist, the DCist is on October 5th. So if it's good enough to open like in November, why isn't it good enough to open right now? You're losing a full month of education. It is hitting people who are low income the hardest. I mean, really, Zoom education sucks. Okay, I know. My kid's been doing it. Basically, it is homeschooling. You may as well homeschool. Teachers very often can't see the students. Very often, students just log in and then walk away from the computer. Many people aren't even logging in. The truancy rates are incredible. And yet we are told that months on end, another month of this won't hurt anything. It's totally fine. Another month of this is fine. Just get past the election. Why? Well, said Chancellor Louis Farabee, learning at home has been positive for many of our students because of the extraordinary work of our teachers. We also know at this time that learning at home is not working for every student. Under the first option considered by the Washington, D.C. school districts, about 7,000 students will attend in-person classes led by a teacher. Each school will offer one class for each grade beginning on November 9th. Oh, look at that. Right after the election. What a coinkydinky. Who could have predicted? And meanwhile, in L.A. County, Barbara Ferrer, the L.A. County Department of Health public official, whose degree is not in anything related to public health, Barbara Ferrer, she says, why don't we reevaluate this whole schools being closed thing, like after the election? That feels like a good time.
So we don't realistically anticipate that we would be moving to either Tier 2 or to reopening K through 12 schools at least until after the election, after, in early November. Like when we just look at the timing of everything, it seems to us a more realistic approach to this would be to think that we're going to be where we are now until we're done with the election.
Mic drop. Oh, we can't do anything until after the election. We can't let people out of their houses and let the kids go to school or open up a restaurant or anything until after the election. That's what we're going to. It's not has been nothing but a political ploy by the blue governors around the country because, and I'm gonna say this, I know people are like, you're insensitive. The survival rate's huge. Only 10,000 plus people have actually died of COVID. Everything else was, oh, they died of this. Oh, and by the way, had COVID and tested.
The survival rates are increasing. The death rates are decreasing. The hospitalization rates are decreasing, and the severity of the disease when it comes is diminishing as well. This virus is coming under control right now. It's been there.
Yes.
It's not even a matter of under control. It's just like, oh, we've learned a lot over this year about how not severe it is. I mean, we were supposed to lose 2 million plus people. If you're like, we've lost it. If I were Trump, I'm like, you guys said we're going to lose 2 million. My administration handled it down to 200,000.
Well, he's been saying that, but nobody's listening. Why? Because nobody's talking about it.
Nobody's reporting it.
Yeah, exactly.
How about
it's a power struggle, man? It's all about power for both sides. It's all about power.
So you admit that it's a power struggle and COVID was actually the weapon?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I'm saving you.
You're not saving me. I've been saying that.
Oh yeah. You came here with a lot of crazy ideas, bro.
I don't know if we can tackle this in 5 minutes, but at the top of the show, I said I wasn't sure that the Tony B story was the biggest one. And the other one that I was thinking of is the way the press is not reporting this. And all day I've been poking around the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. I haven't heard a word about those emails. Not a word. Go take a look at them on the internet. And they're talking about Fauci, talking about Thanksgiving it's nonsense. Nobody's talking about it except Fox News that I'm aware of. Okay. And on conservative talk radio. So which is the bigger story?
Do you want to hear my last clip? My last clip addresses this.
Yeah.
My last clip, and we'll end the show on this thing just so I can inform my friend down there, Devie, and my friend Willie, because I know he hasn't heard this either. I can see it on his face. So we'll get that last clip. I think it's 2 minutes.
I can see it on my face.
Hit it, baby.
With all of the exposés you've done on Google so far, give us the big picture of what's happening with Google, with Facebook, with Twitter, from this story to the other stories you've done.
Right. Well, and I think video, I said this many times, video transfixes in a way that words don't. So kind of hearing these people talk about how they do this and what they do with the first with the Google clip we were talking about a moment ago. A woman said we got to prevent the next Trump situation. This guy saying it seems they favor Democrats with their algorithms. It's becoming more obvious. It's becoming more clear that there is no shame on these platforms, and I think the recent New York Post story was a good example of that, where it's no longer you need a hidden camera. They're just doing it out in the open, and I still believe that if the story is good enough, it can circumvent the powers that be because people are hungry for real, raw, enlightened information. So that's my premise. If that premise is off or if that's wrong, then maybe this escalates into the next DEFCON stage, which is civil unrest in this country. But I still believe fundamentally that people are intelligent enough to be receptive to real and raw information like you're seeing with Project Veritas. And what's more, Tim, is, and I can't emphasize this enough for your show, Veritas's vision is insiders and whistleblowers coming public. Brave people. That's why our motto is be brave, do something.
So the premise of that was there was a Google insider that came to Veritas, Project Veritas, and said, hey, I know because I'm part of this whole idea where they're actually manipulating algorithms so they can actually suppress conservative speech, right? So that was Project Veritas talking about that on that show. And that guy had actually interviewed a guy from Google that said it was happening. Go ahead. Well,
yeah, I mean, we've heard this before.
You got a minute and a half.
Go ahead, Will.
But on Facebook, Tucker this week, right? In order for Facebook to ban the New York Post reports, they have 6 Chinese nationals on their team that are censoring what we think. And they're directly from China.
And they outsource it because Chinese people can do it and Americans can't. That was
exactly.
They actually outsource it to Chinese people offshore so they can actually censor Americans because they're actually Chinese. So it's an outsourced foreign country, foreigners censoring Americans because Facebook legally can't do it. Is that crazy?
They're on H-1B visas.
Going around.
Absolutely true.
But again, we talked about this last week. I think that because of Parler and they see Rumble, like capitalism will actually create space now. So if we can't get our news and other people like, hey, Come over here. We're not censoring anybody. So you're seeing a lot of people move to Parler. They're seeing people move to Rumble. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds. Anybody?
Let me say this. The monopoly's got to be broken up, right? Just
all right, that's it. That's it. You said it.
Lawsuit.
Anybody else? You got we're inside of 20 seconds. Any thoughts about Google suppressing Devie?
Yeah, I do think it's a disservice to all of us as Americans. I mean, we're a land of free speech, and so right, wrong, and difference. I don't care how you feel about it. It should come out. So no suppression should be happening.
Jay, anything? Last
thoughts. Congress needs to rescind their exemptions, or they need to be reclassified as a publisher and live under those rules.
That solves the problem right there. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Do me a favor, if you like the show, if you're watching the recording, hit the like button, share it with your friends, get us out there if you like what's going on here. It'll help us move up in the SEO stuff and get this thing out to the world so we can help the world understand, I don't know, how we think.
This has been The Big Divide. Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of unfiltered and unapologetic conversation.
Done and done.
And of course, share this episode with all of your friends. Well, maybe not the sensitive ones.
You apologize right now. Do you have a question, topic, or opinion that you want to hear discussed? Go to BigDivideShow.com and tell us all about it.
Or simply look up Big Divide on Instagram or Facebook and send us a message.